So now we will proceed with the presentation proper of what is Museo Maritimo today. And in part, I would like to use this as an opportunity to create an elaboration of where your respective works constitute into the larger project of the Ames Museo Maritimo. So everyone, good afternoon again. And I will explain today the Ames Museo Maritimo today. Next slide, please. There are three guide questions that was given to each speakers for today. So first, what is your contribution to the Ames Museo Maritimo? Second, what is the contribution of Ames Museo Maritimo to the Philippine maritime history? And third, why is the Philippines a maritime nation? So these are the guide questions that we followed since the first presenter natin, which is Mr. Greg Alfonso. And thankfully, we have clearly determined and discovered the progression and development of Ames Museo Maritimo as a research or as an independent institute. So this is also the kind of outline that I will try to answer for today. Next slide, please. So for today, aside from the existing project of the museum, such as yung fun run, this forum, my main contribution in large part for this year are the following. So first is the accomplishment of the in-house book publication of Ames Museo Maritimo titled Alon, a Philippines as a Maritime Nation State. Today, I am presenting the key content of this book, and hopefully in the coming months, I will make it open access and available for everyone. And also for printing, hopefully I can secure printing for that. Second is the accomplishment of the Aguhon, a Philippine Maritime History and Heritage Journal, Volume 2. And third will be the open for viewing of Alon, the Philippines as a Maritime Nation State. So this is the special exhibition that we have undertaken for the past month. So on the surface, you might see that these three projects might be independent from one another, but as a whole, they are mutually connected and operate in a cohesive structure. So for a start, the Alon contains the outline, or it's more of a picture book that contains the summary of the Philippine maritime history. So yun yung purpose ng Alon. So it is more of a picture book that's present the history, the outline of why the Philippines is a maritime nation state. So for my interns in here, probably you have already seen it also, the draft of it, because it is the basis of our works. Second will be the Aguhon. So Aguhon is more of an academic research publication. So each interns in here that is present in here did undertake an individual research article whereby yung topic ng ginawa nilang research ay connected kung ano yung content ng Alon. So kung yung Alon is only an outline or a summary, yung entire volume 2 ng Aguhon, composed of 3 issues, contains yung elaboration more on the scientific or the research work para magkaroon ng substance yung outline na ginawa natin. So that is the purpose of Aguhon. And third will be yung special exhibition. It's our project to communicate our research. So of course, doing research is just one thing, but of course, museum work is all about communication and engaging the public. So the challenge for our interns during their internship program was how to communicate their research work to be consumed by the general public. So kung makikita nyo yung progression natin, we first start with a storybook named Alon. Now, meron na tong corresponding publication na nag-expound ng content nito. Yun yung Aguhon. And this Aguhon is further elaborated and communicated with our exhibition. So hopefully you've seen the connection and the mutuality of the activities that we have undertaken for the past month and for the whole year actually. Next slide, please. So this is the brief overview of the Museo Maritimo Campus Museum project. So ito yung outline na ginawa natin sa Alon. So kung makikita nyo, this entire table is actually corresponds dito sa lighthouse building kung nasaan tayo ngayon. So I want you to first focus doon sa deck 6, dun sa pinakataas, which is the overview or Museo Maritimo Permanent Exhibition. So right now, ito yung nasaan tayo ngayon, ito yung permanent exhibition ng Ames Museo Maritimo. And unfortunately, medyo limited na yung space natin. So we decided to expand yung content ng museum natin to also include all of the hallways of this building. So aside sa gumawa tayo ng content on every floor para meron tayong content sa buong hallway, in-integrate din natin yung existing laboratories natin as part of our museum exhibition. Whereby yung museum training is now an inclusive part ng entire museum experience natin. So that is one of the key accomplishment ng project natin. And it is called the CM project or the Campus Museum project, whereby the Lighthouse building serves as a learning laboratory. So in regards to that project, I would like to emphasize that every hallway is divided into 7 sections. So for example, sa Deck 5, we have 7 sections from mid to the primogenitors up until to the heterogeneous yet homogeneous people. And kung makikita nyo, that is also the content ng Alon na ginawa natin dito, which is yan yung mga key themes nung Alon at the Philippines as a maritime nation state. Consequentially, yan din yung ginawa ninyong respective articles, definitely, para hopefully makita nyo yung relationship ng ginagawa nyo to the larger picture. Lastly, yun din yung ginawa nyong exhibition. So kung makikita nyo, what we have undertaken is a complete sequence of historical interpretation. So we first started with the Nation of Migrants sa Deck 5. Then sa Deck 4, we start at the theme is a maritime nation, which depicts yung progression ng Philippines as a maritime nation state. And lastly, a great exodus. So there are a lot of means to interpret Philippine history. So yung iba means is yung dialectical materialism, yung iba yung Roman Catholic Church, yung iba are mostly objective, pero iba-iba yung approach. But on our part, we have viewed it in a maritime prism. And what I would like to emphasize in our interpretation in here is the pronouncement ng a nation of migrants and yung a great exodus. What we would like to emphasize is yung dichotomy or yung parallelism that we first started as a nation of migrants and now we are a nation of immigrants kung saan marami tayong OFW diaspora. And despite na marami tayong diaspora globally, the sense of a Filipino nation or identity still remains kahit nasa ibang bansa. And in large part, ang key doon is yung Deck 4, which is yung a maritime nation. What connects us and what defines us as a nation. So hopefully you understand and kung ano yung entire theme na gusto natin gawin and how your individual research is connected into that grand picture. So right now, kung makikapansin nyo, the theme of our forum today is curating a national maritime narrative. And hindi naman tayo sa nag-specify na ito yon, but we are really striving na to create a storyline or a complete narrative. And hopefully, ito yung ginagawa natin for today. So, and I would like again to congratulate our interns for really helping us for this project. Okay? Hopefully, ito yung entire project natin and from Deck 6 up until to Deck 1, meron tayong mga ginawang museum exhibition. So, and I would like to specify that the completion of the Campus Museum project opens new opportunities for us because we pioneered the concept of the Campus Museum, whereby the museum function as an integral part of the university in its entire pedagogical approach. Next slide, please. In line to what I have specified, right now, there are different types of learning. So we have of course, the intellectual and moral development, which is common in every collegiate life experience. So we have here a pyramid specifying the different learning styles available in our environment. So because of the advent of online learning, definitely as a result of COVID, compounded by our online learning or in traditional learning, yun yung two means ng learning modules natin today, online and on-site. But the creation of the Campus Museum project created a new avenue for learning for us, which is an experiential learning. So, probably hindi nyo pa nakita, but in the previous days, meron na talagang umiikot sa mga ginawa nyong exhibition here in our museum. And makita natin yung engagement on the part of the students to also learn. So while they are playing, they are viewing the exhibition, they are also learning, particularly Philippine maritime history. So this constitutes the entire pedagogical approach that we would like to offer here in our institution, something which is holistic, and something which covers all domain of the learning channels ng mga tao. Of course, we all have different learning styles. So meron tayo now online learning, traditional learning, and experiential learning. So that is where your respective exhibition comes into the pedagogical approach na meron tayo dito sa institution. So classroom setting for traditional learning. Flexible learning is of course yung mga LMS, then Moodle, and of course experiential learning are the laboratories which we have now integrated into our exhibition, and definitely your respective exhibition. So hopefully you now understand the entire pedagogical approach that the museum have undertaken for the institution. Next slide, please. So I would also like to introduce now the phases of development and transition of Ames Museo Maritimo. So what we have undertaken is to determine the accomplishment of Ames Museo Maritimo for the past 10 years. And greatly, kung nakita natin from Greg to Jasper to Captain Monson and to Ma'am Lalaine, that Ames Museo Maritimo have really gone to great lengths for the past 10 years. And now, in the coming weeks, probably in October 24, the museum will officially be integrated into the library. So, part na siya ng CLAMS, which is yung Center for Library and Museum Services. It's now more of the archives and archiving and sa mga special projects ng library. So that's the phase one. So of course, in the coming years, the museum, of course, knowing the necessity of its financial sustainability, will proceed into income generation projects. So yun yung gagawin. And lastly, in phase three, is to develop yung CLAMS as a development center here. So ito yung roadmap na ginagawa natin as a new direction for the museum. So that's the title for our forum today. We first determine yung insights ng past and ano yung, from that insight, ano yung direction. So from phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Next slide, please. So for a closure, we are doing all of these activities all in line with the definition of what is Ames Museo Maritimo. We are defining our institution and following the vision to become the home of maritime engineering and heritage knowledge exchange. So we are doing this forum primarily to define and to establish the institution as a knowledge exchange center here in the Philippines and in the whole of Asia. So in large part to that, before I close my presentation, meron tayong mga ginagawang publication. So just last year, na-accomplish natin yung Flying the Straits, Patel Mobilities in Central Philippines. After my presentation, Dr. Santarita will also present the content of this book for as some sort of relaunching. Also, this forum will also be translated into a conference proceeding. So last year, ginawa din natin yung forum, and the accomplishment of that forum materialized into the second volume of Timon, which is the proceedings of all the Philippine Maritime Heritage Forum. So next year, meron din tayong ganun. And lastly, meron din tayong aguhon, which is yung ginawang research ng ating mga interns. This will be available hopefully in the coming months, complete with identifiers such as ISSN, DOI, and also an online access. So our interns will now have the opportunity to establish their own research portfolio and their H index in the Google Scholar. So that's number one. So everyone, as I end my presentation, I would like again to specify that thank you for attending the 7th Philippine Maritime Heritage Forum and the 10th year anniversary of the Ames Museo Maritime. Thank you very much.